Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And my name is Catherine, and today we have an advanced media level lesson, so that's the very highest of our levels.
Right, and we're going to be talking about a very popular tradition in North America, a Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay, so Thanksgiving is a very special holiday for Americans, and Canadians also celebrate it.
But on different dates, right? Canadians have it on a different date.
Exactly. I'm not sure what the Canadian date is, but Americans celebrate it at the end of November. The day changes every year because it's a Thursday, but we usually have the day off from work or school, and we all eat together and celebrate the year and celebrate the harvest and celebrate our families and friends.
So this tradition of Thanksgiving, what do you commemorate or what do you celebrate?
Well, we actually celebrate the first harvest that the Pilgrims had when they were right off the boat in New England. So that's the eastern part of America. These people had come from England, and they were trying to find a new land and a new life, and they ended up in the Massachusetts area, and they didn't know how to farm, and they didn't know how to work the land. And so the Native Americans who were living there at the time helped them out, helped them grow corn, helped them find out how to use the land in a productive way. And so when that first harvest happened, everyone was able to grow, it's actually a year after they arrived, everyone was able to grow corn and food and crops, and then they all shared a meal together to celebrate this wonderful occasion.
Wow.
And it actually helped them survive the winter because most of the Pilgrims, most of the settlers, they died during the first winter. And so this was a really great thing for them.
Wow. That's really interesting. An interesting aspect of history and why this is celebrated mostly, as you say, in North America and Canada, and that's why many other countries don't really have it. But it's a popular get-together, and, well, what you usually have is a turkey, right?
Exactly. So turkey is a very big bird, and they go gobble, 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 gobble. And they have that kind of really red, long kind of thing on their necks. And big tail feathers. And they're delicious. But the funny thing is about turkey that there's a chemical in it that makes you very sleepy. Well, not a chemical. There's a protein in it that makes you very sleepy.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So the joke is that after you eat dinner on Thanksgiving, everyone falls asleep on the sofa.
Well, Thanksgiving meals in the United States are very, very big. They're very elaborate, right? You not only have turkey, but you have pumpkin pie, and you have mashed potatoes and gravy, and just like a table full of food. Exactly.
And it's a way to celebrate, well, to give thanks for all the things that you have. And so we like to cook a lot of food to celebrate that. And they're all fall foods. So squash, pumpkin, potatoes, things like that.
All right. So we have a dialogue here. So it's just that. It's a guy who is preparing a turkey dinner and also preparing pumpkin pie, but he's doing it in a very peculiar way. So why don't we listen to the dialogue, and then we'll come back and just talk a little bit about the different terms that he used. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our show. Today, we are going to learn how to cook the perfect Thanksgiving turkey. I will share a secret that I have kept for over 30 years on how to cook the perfect, most mouth-watering, juiciest turkey in the world. Let's get started. First of all, we must bring out our key ingredient, whiskey. You see, the grains used to make whiskey along with the alcohol brings out the flavor of the turkey meat. Let's pour 1 cup of whiskey on the turkey and serve yourself a cup as well. Cheers. That's good 12-year whiskey right there. Okay, back to our turkey. Preheat your oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit. Now have another cup of whiskey. Now that the oven is hot, we place our bird on a rack inside a roasting pan. Let's add some whiskey to give it some extra flavor. And let's have another cup. That hit the spot. There we go. We can leave it in there for the next 45 minutes. In the meantime, let's have another sip of whiskey and start with our delicious pumpkin pie. Lightly whisk together 2 eggs and the extra yolk in a large bowl. Once that's ready, we can put sugar, spices such as cloves, grated nutmeg, and cinnamon with some cream and dark rum into a saucepan. Slowly bring up to simmering point, stirring occasionally. Now you may notice that we are using some dark rum in this pie. This is because the richness of the pumpkin is beautifully enhanced by the dark rum. So to celebrate this great occasion, pour yourself a glass. Cheers! Now that we have finished with the filling, let's bake the pie for 45 to 50 minutes until the filling has puffed up around the edges and the center is almost set. All done. A cup of rum to celebrate the completion of this great Thanksgiving dinner. After waiting for an hour and having a couple of drinks, it's time to check on our turkey. Take the turkey out of the oven. Pick the turkey off of the ground. Don't worry, it will add flavor to this recipe. Now also remove the pie from the oven and serve while still hot. Cheers and happy Thanksgiving! All right, we're back. So I think this is going to be one great Thanksgiving dinner for him.
Oh my gosh. And talking about this is making me so hungry. This always happens when we have food lessons.
What about, do you have any family members who actually drink a little bit too much during Thanksgiving?
Yes, and I won't say who.
All right. So as he was preparing the Thanksgiving dinner, he mentioned a couple of things. For example, a mouth-watering turkey.
Mouth-watering. So this is a way to say appetizing. You know when you see something delicious on TV and yeah,
your mouth
starts to water. You're salivating. That means that your brain is telling you that you want to eat it.
Right.
And so your mouth starts to water. So we say that something that's very appetizing, something that looks like it will taste very, very good, it's mouth-watering.
Mouth-watering. All right, so he was preparing a mouth-watering turkey. Mm-hmm. So moving on, he mentioned that he had a key ingredient for his turkey, and it was whiskey. Not only whiskey, but 12-year whiskey.
Okay, so the thing about whiskeys is that oftentimes on the label of a bottle, they'll advertise how old the whiskey is because you pay more for older whiskeys. They have better taste in many cases. Well, I guess it depends. But in this case, it's a 12-year whiskey. That means that it was stored in a cask for 12 years to let it age. Mm-hmm. And then they sell it after 12 years. And so that's the special ingredient.
That's the special ingredient, 12-year whiskey. And well, he not only put it on the turkey, but also he had a couple of drinks himself. And in one of those, he mentioned that hit the spot.
That hit the spot.
What spot?
The spot. Okay, so this is a really common phrase in English that we use to say that something is very satisfying.
Mm-hmm. So that hit the spot. And not only for drinks, right?
No, you could use it for food or anything, really. So in this case, I could say, oh, I was so hungry. That sandwich really hit the spot.
Okay.
I really needed to eat right now, and that sandwich was perfect.
That was perfect. Mm-hmm. All right. So that hit the spot. Now, when he referred to the turkey, in one occasion he said, we place our bird on a rack. All right, so what's a bird and what's the rack?
Okay, so this is really interesting. We talk about the turkey oftentimes when we're making commercials or talking about recipes as the bird. So you want to take out the bird, and you want to open the packaging. So the bird is the turkey. A turkey is a kind of bird. You can say this about chicken as well because it's another kind of bird, but this is a kind of a colloquial term in cooking for whatever bird you're cooking.
Right. Okay. And when you're placing it on a rack, what's a rack?
Okay. So in our ovens, an oven is it's a kitchen appliance that you have that heats up food. But it's not like a microwave. It's much stronger. And so inside there are metal bars. They're like shelves, but they're open. And so these metal bars are called a rack.
Okay.
So you put the turkey in the oven on the rack.
Right. You can't put it on the base of the oven because then it would burn up.
Exactly. And you don't have a shelf because that would be a problem.
All right. And moving on the instructions when he was preparing the pumpkin pie, he told us to lightly whisk together 2 eggs. So we have a verb here, to whisk.
To whisk.
So that's not only a verb, but a noun as well, right?
All right.
It's an instrument.
Exactly. And this is a verb we often use with eggs. So to whisk eggs. You can also whisk like sauce for a salad, so like a salad dressing. But it's a way that we stir something. And so oftentimes we have an instrument called a whisk that's not like a fork. It actually looks kind of funny. It's got bars on it.
Like wire that kind of make a circle.
Exactly, and they are very thin wires, and you usually stir very, very, very quickly. Especially if you have eggs, this will break up the egg, and
Right.
it becomes kind of like foamy.
Foamy, yeah. To make like an omelet, for example.
Exactly. So to whisk is a kind of it's a way to stir.
Okay. And then he mentioned some ingredients such as sugar, spices, and grated nutmeg. So what is this verb, grated nutmeg? Or an adjective, grated?
Exactly. So this adjective grated means that, it's a kind of way to cut up something. And so you often hear the term grated cheese. That means not a big chunk of cheese, but we push it against a board to get little pieces of it to fall off. And that's called grated cheese. And so in this case, we have grated nutmeg. That means that it's been the nutmeg comes in
Very small
pods.
pieces.
Yeah, pieces, and we're breaking it down.
All right. Very good. And he also mentioned something about bringing the sauce to a simmering point. What is that simmering point?
Okay, simmering point is a time when you're cooking where the liquid goes from being calm to being very agitated and moving.
But it's not boiling, right?
No, boiling means you have big bubbles.
Right.
Like boiling water. But simmering is where it's kind of little bubble. There's a little bit of action on the surface of the
Okay.
liquid, but it's not boiling. It's in the middle between flat and calm and agitated and boiling.
Boiling. Okay, so that's the simmering point. Very good. And that's pretty much all of the interesting phrases in the dialogue. There are a lot more, but we don't really have time to cover that huge amount of rich vocabulary. So why don't we listen to this dialogue one last time? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our show. Today, we are going to learn how to cook the perfect Thanksgiving turkey. I will share a secret that I have kept for over 30 years on how to cook the perfect, most mouth-watering, juiciest turkey in the world. Let's get started. First of all, we must bring out our key ingredient, whiskey. You see, the grains used to make whiskey along with the alcohol brings out the flavor of the turkey meat. Let's pour 1 cup of whiskey on the turkey and serve yourself a cup as well. Cheers. That's good 12-year whiskey right there. Okay, back to our turkey. Preheat your oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit. Now have another cup of whiskey. Now that the oven is hot, we place our bird on a rack inside a roasting pan. Let's add some whiskey to give it some extra flavor. And let's have another cup. That hit the spot. There we go. We can leave it in there for the next 45 minutes. In the meantime, let's have another sip of whiskey and start with our delicious pumpkin pie. Lightly whisk together 2 eggs and the extra yolk in a large bowl. Once that's ready, we can put sugar, spices such as cloves, grated nutmeg, and cinnamon with some cream and dark rum into a saucepan. Slowly bring up to simmering point, stirring occasionally. Now you may notice that we are using some dark rum in this pie. This is because the richness of the pumpkin is beautifully enhanced by the dark rum. So to celebrate this great occasion, pour yourself a glass. Cheers! Now that we have finished with the filling, let's bake the pie for 45 to 50 minutes until the filling has puffed up around the edges and the center is almost set. All done. A cup of rum to celebrate the completion of this great Thanksgiving dinner. After waiting for an hour and having a couple of drinks, it's time to check on our turkey. Take the turkey out of the oven. Pick the turkey off of the ground. Don't worry, it will add flavor to this recipe. Now also remove the pie from the oven and serve while still hot. Cheers and happy Thanksgiving! All right, we're back. So Thanksgiving dinner, really popular. Catherine, have you ever cooked or are you into the whole Thanksgiving feast?
I'm very into it. It's my favorite holiday in America, mostly because everyone gets to celebrate it. It's not religious, so you don't have to worry about other people not celebrating it or not knowing what to do. And it's also a celebration about family and food. And so it's a wonderful experience to have Thanksgiving because you're with everybody. And we always say in America that if someone doesn't have a place to go on Thanksgiving, you should invite them to your house.
That's true.
And so it's a very inviting and warm holiday. And I love cooking and I love being in the kitchen and I love having people in the house cooking. And so, yeah, I've definitely been a part of the cooking side of things.
Now, in many movies, they kind of mock this holiday because it's a time where everyone gets together, as you say, no matter religion, creed, or race. And that also causes for a lot of family members to get together and argue and have discussions about politics or talk about family problems and stuff like that. So what do you think of that?
Well, I think it's an exaggeration, but it happens. People get very stressed out during the holidays. They call it the holidays because this is beginning where you have Thanksgiving and then later Christmas. But I personally don't have experience with that really on Thanksgiving because it's such a happy holiday for us. So, and in my family, arguments about politics and history and all that is very encouraged.
Oh, okay.
And so it's just a part of the holiday where we have one person at the table who says this and the other person says this and you're all drinking and it's fun. I look forward to
it. Dear listener, I want to share a story with you. It is more than just a story. It is a journey through culture, tradition, and language. As you listen, you will not only enjoy the story itself, but you will also learn new English words, phrases, and expressions that you can use in real life. So relax, imagine the scenes, and let this story guide you into a warm and meaningful experience. Hi, welcome. Are you ready to listen to our story? Today, I want to take you into the warm, colorful world of a Thanksgiving dinner. Imagine a long wooden table, the smell of roasted turkey floating through the air, candles glowing softly, and laughter filling the room. Thanksgiving is not just about food, it's about connection, tradition, and gratitude. For English learners, it's also a wonderful chance to pick up useful vocabulary about family, food, and culture. Thanksgiving in North America began hundreds of years ago when settlers from England arrived in a new land. They struggled to survive, but with the help of Native Americans, they learned how to plant corn, grow vegetables, and hunt. After a successful harvest, both groups came together to share a meal. That meal became the foundation of Thanksgiving. The key word here is harvest, which means the time when crops are collected. You can say, "Farmers are busy during harvest," or "The apple harvest is my favorite season." Today, people celebrate Thanksgiving with a big meal that often includes turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, and pumpkin pie. The turkey is usually called the bird in casual English. For example, someone might say, "Let's put the bird in the oven." Notice how informal and natural that sounds. The meal usually ends with sweet desserts like pumpkin pie, apple pie, or pecan pie. A pie is a baked dish with a crust and a filling, and the word itself is very common in English. You can say, "Would you like a slice of pie?" But Thanksgiving is more than eating. It's about saying thank you for the good things in life: family, friends, health, even small daily joys. Many families go around the table and share one thing they are thankful for. This simple tradition teaches a powerful expression: "I'm thankful for." For example, "I'm thankful for my parents," or "I'm thankful for good health." This phrase is easy, but it carries deep meaning. Another thing that makes Thanksgiving special is that it is not tied to religion. Anyone can join in, no matter their beliefs. This is why many people describe Thanksgiving as inclusive, which means it welcomes everyone. In American culture, it is common to invite someone who has no family nearby. That act of kindness is another important word: hospitality. When you show hospitality, you open your home and heart to others. The atmosphere of Thanksgiving is warm and cozy. The colors are orange, brown, and gold, matching the autumn season. Families decorate with pumpkins, candles, or even leaves. The smell of food, the sound of laughter, and the sight of people helping each other create unforgettable memories. Even simple actions like children folding napkins, grandparents telling stories, or friends washing dishes together become lessons of care and teamwork. Thanksgiving is a day of slowing down, sharing, and remembering what truly matters. It's a chance to practice gratitude in both words and actions. For English learners, it's also a perfect way to connect language with culture. Learning words like feast, roast, gravy, harvest, and thankful, while also experiencing the emotions behind them. That's why Thanksgiving is not just a holiday, it's a living lesson in kindness, family, and language. When people talk about Thanksgiving dinner, the very first image that comes to mind is the turkey. This big bird is the centerpiece of the meal, often roasted for hours until the skin turns golden brown and crispy. In English, people sometimes say, "The turkey is in the oven," or "carve the turkey." The word carve means to carefully cut meat into slices, usually with a special long knife. It's a tradition that the oldest person at the table, or the head of the family, carves the turkey, and everyone watches. It feels almost like a small ceremony. Next to the turkey, you will often find mashed potatoes. They are creamy, soft, and usually served with gravy. Gravy is a thick sauce made from the juice of the turkey. If you want to sound natural in English, you can say, "Could you pass me the gravy, please?" Or, "I love my potatoes with lots of gravy." Small, polite sentences like these are very common at the dinner table. Another traditional dish is stuffing. This is a mixture of bread, onions, celery, herbs, and sometimes even fruits or nuts. People either cook it inside the turkey or bake it separately. The name stuffing comes from the verb to stuff, which means to fill something tightly. For example, you can say, "I stuffed my suitcase with clothes," or "They stuffed the turkey with bread and herbs." See how the same verb works in different situations? Cranberry sauce is also important. It's bright red, sweet, and a little sour. It's interesting because some people love it while others don't. That's why in English, you might hear someone say, "Cranberry sauce is not my cup of tea." This phrase, "not my cup of tea," is an idiom that means not something I like. Learning idioms like this makes your English sound more natural and fun. And of course, desserts complete the dinner. Pumpkin pie is the classic choice, but apple pie and pecan pie are also very popular. Each pie has a special flavor and often connects to family traditions. In fact, food and memory are very closely linked. When people smell or taste something familiar, it can remind them of childhood or happy times. That's why many people say, "This pie tastes just like my grandmother used to make." Thanksgiving foods are more than just dishes, they are symbols. The turkey represents abundance, the cranberry sauce adds color and freshness, and the pies bring sweetness to the table. Together, they create a meal that is not only delicious, but also meaningful. For English learners, it's helpful to pay attention to the language people use around food. Verbs like carve, roast, stuff, adjectives like creamy, crispy, juicy, and expressions like hit the spot when food feels satisfying. These words are useful in everyday conversations, not only at Thanksgiving, but anytime you talk about eating. So when you imagine a Thanksgiving table, think of it as a feast of flavors, traditions, and also of words and expressions. Every dish tells a story, and every word you learn is another piece of culture added to your English journey. Thanksgiving dinner is not only about the food on the table, but also about the feelings people share. One of the strongest traditions is expressing gratitude. Gratitude means the act of being thankful, of noticing the good things in life. During dinner, many families go around the table and each person says something they are thankful for. This is called sharing your blessings. A person might say, "I'm thankful for my health," or "I'm thankful for having friends who care about me." This practice teaches people to pause and look at life with appreciation. In English, the phrase "I'm grateful for" is another way to express thanks. For example, I'm grateful for this meal, or I'm grateful for the opportunities I have. Words like grateful, thankful, and appreciative all carry the same positive meaning. Learning to use them can help you sound more polite, warm, and connected in conversations. But gratitude is not only spoken, it is also shown through actions. Helping to cook, pouring drinks for others, or even cleaning the table after the meal are small acts of kindness that say, I care about you. These actions are part of what makes Thanksgiving so special. In English, there is a saying, actions speak louder than words. It means that what you do is more powerful than what you say. At Thanksgiving, people live this phrase by working together and showing love through simple tasks. Another unique thing about this holiday is hospitality. Hospitality means making guests feel welcome, comfortable, and cared for. In American culture, it is common to invite someone who has no family nearby. Even strangers or new neighbors might be invited. This act shows the true heart of the celebration. It teaches us that Thanksgiving is not only about family, it is also about community. And let's not forget the atmosphere at the table. People talk, laugh, share stories, and sometimes even debate about life, history, or politics. These conversations are not always serious, often they are light and full of humor. Learning phrases like, that reminds me of a funny story, or, you know what happened last year, can help English learners join in conversations naturally. It's not only about vocabulary, it's about learning the rhythm of friendly talk. At the end of the meal, when everyone feels full and happy, many people lean back in their chairs and say, I couldn't eat another bite, or, that really hit the spot. These expressions are used to describe satisfaction after eating. They are small, simple sentences, but they make your English sound very real and native-like. Thanksgiving is not just a dinner. It's an emotional experience, teaching the value of gratitude, hospitality, and kindness. For learners of English, it's also a lesson in how culture and language connect, how words like thankful, phrases like hit the spot, and idioms like actions speak louder than words carry meaning far beyond the dictionary. It's a celebration of language, food, and above all, people. Thanksgiving is also a holiday full of traditions that go beyond the dinner table. One of the most famous is the Thanksgiving Day Parade, especially the one in New York City. Huge balloons shaped like cartoon characters float through the streets. Marching bands play music, and dancers perform. For many families, watching the parade on TV in the morning has become a ritual. The word ritual means a repeated tradition, something you do every year in the same way. For example, drinking tea before bed is my nightly ritual. Another tradition is football. On Thanksgiving Day, professional teams play special games that millions of people watch. Families often gather around the TV, eating snacks and cheering for their favorite team. The phrase, "Are you rooting for them?" is common in sports talk. To root for someone means to support them. So you can say, "I'm rooting for the Cowboys," or in everyday life, "I'm rooting for you in your exam." This shows how sports language easily connects to daily English. But not everyone focuses on football or parades. Some people enjoy taking a long walk after the big meal. It's a way to relax, to enjoy the crisp autumn air, and to talk quietly with family or friends. The adjective crisp here means cool, fresh, and pleasant. You could also describe food as crisp, like crisp apples or crisp French fries. See how one word can have different but connected meanings? Many families also bring out board games or card games in the evening. Laughter fills the room as people play together. This teaches another useful English phrase, friendly competition. For example, we had a friendly competition in Scrabble. This phrase shows that even when people compete, it's about fun, not about winning or losing. There's also something very human about the way families interact on Thanksgiving. Sometimes old stories are told again, like childhood memories or funny mistakes that happened years ago. These stories become part of family history, repeated year after year. A common phrase in English is, "Do you remember when?" followed by the story. It's simple, but it opens the door to laughter, nostalgia, and connection. And yes, sometimes disagreements happen too, maybe about politics, maybe about personal choices, but even these arguments often show how much people care. In English, there is a saying, "You always argue with the people you love most." It's because family members feel close enough to speak honestly. Learning to understand humor, arguments, and affection all mixed together is part of understanding culture. Thanksgiving traditions are colorful and varied parades, football, walks, games, and storytelling. Each activity adds layers to the holiday, making it more than just a meal. For English learners, these traditions are also full of useful words and phrases. Ritual, root for, crisp, friendly competition. Do you remember when? Each one can enrich your daily English and bring you closer to the rhythm of real conversation. Thanksgiving, in this way, becomes not only a celebration but also a classroom of culture, language, and life. One of the most beautiful parts of Thanksgiving is the preparation that happens before the meal. The kitchen becomes the heart of the house. You can hear the sound of pots and pans, the chopping of vegetables, and the clinking of plates. The air is filled with delicious smells: roasting turkey, cinnamon from pies, and butter melting on fresh bread. In English, people often describe this atmosphere as mouth-watering, which means so tasty that your mouth begins to water just from the smell. You could say, "That pizza looks mouth-watering," or "The soup smells mouth-watering." Cooking together is a lesson in teamwork. Children might wash vegetables, teenagers set the table, and adults take turns stirring sauces or checking the oven. In English, teamwork is often described with the phrase pitch in, which means to help. For example, everyone pitched in to prepare the meal. This phrase is not only for cooking, it can be used in any group activity. The kitchen also becomes a place for learning. New recipes are shared, and old family recipes are passed down. Someone might ask, "How do you whisk the eggs?" Or, "What's the secret to your stuffing?" Words like whisk, bake, simmer, and grate are common cooking verbs that learners can practice. For example, to whisk means to beat quickly with a fork or a whisk tool. To simmer means to cook slowly at a low heat. These verbs are practical for real life because they appear in recipes everywhere. Another important part of preparation is setting the table. Plates, glasses, silverware, and napkins are placed carefully. Some families add candles, flowers, or small pumpkins to make it special. This is called table setting. In English, we also use the phrase "set the table" as a daily household chore. For example, "Can you set the table before dinner?" It may sound simple, but these small tasks teach responsibility and care. As people prepare, the mood in the house is busy but joyful. Music may play in the background, people chat about life, and sometimes little accidents happen, like dropping a spoon or burning the bread. But even mistakes become part of the memory. In English, there's a helpful phrase, "Don't cry over spilled milk." It means don't get upset about small problems that cannot be changed. At Thanksgiving, this attitude is important. No one worries too much about perfection because the togetherness is more important than the food. When the kitchen is alive with activity, something magical happens. People feel closer, working side by side, sharing recipes, teaching words, and even laughing about little disasters all create bonds. For English learners, joining this kind of experience is powerful. You not only taste the culture, but you also hear useful phrases, practice verbs, and learn polite expressions. The preparation of Thanksgiving dinner teaches patience, cooperation, and joy in small details. Every step, from whisking eggs to lighting candles, carries language, culture, and meaning. It shows that even before the meal begins, there is already a feast happening. A feast of learning, sharing, and connecting. After the big Thanksgiving meal, the day often slows down into one of the most peaceful and memorable times. People lean back in their chairs, loosen their belts, and smile with satisfaction. In English, you often hear phrases like, "I'm stuffed," or "I couldn't eat another bite." The word stuffed here doesn't mean filled with bread like the turkey, it means very full from eating. You can use it anytime you've had too much food, like, "That buffet was so good, I'm stuffed." Some people feel sleepy after eating turkey, and there's even a funny expression for it, food coma. This doesn't mean a real medical coma, but it's a casual way of saying you feel extremely sleepy and heavy after a big meal. For example, "After that huge lunch, I fell into a food coma." Learning fun phrases like this makes your English sound more natural and playful. But Thanksgiving evening isn't only about rest. Families often spend this time connecting in simple, meaningful ways. Some bring out photo albums, looking at old pictures and remembering special moments. Words like nostalgia and reminisce are perfect for these situations. Nostalgia means the warm, bittersweet feeling you get when you remember the past. Reminisce means to talk about old memories together. For example, we reminisced about our childhood holidays. These words add depth to your English when talking about memories. Other families like to play board games, card games, or even tell jokes. Kids run around, grandparents share stories, and parents laugh. This is where phrases like quality time become important. In English, quality time means meaningful time spent with loved ones, not just being in the same room, but truly connecting. You can say, "I want to spend quality time with my family this weekend." Some families also take a walk together after dinner. This tradition is healthy and calming. Imagine walking outside in the cool autumn air, leaves crunching under your feet, and soft conversation flowing. The word stroll is often used here. A stroll is a slow, relaxed walk. Instead of saying, "Let's walk," you could say, "Let's take a stroll," which sounds more pleasant and gentle. Even cleaning up after dinner becomes part of the togetherness. People wash dishes, dry them, and put things away while chatting and laughing. In English, there's a phrase, "make the best of it." It means to turn a boring or difficult task into something positive. For example, we had to clean the kitchen, but we made the best of it by telling jokes. Thanksgiving evening teaches that joy does not come from expensive things. It comes from simple moments, feeling full, telling stories, laughing, walking, or even cleaning together. For English learners, these activities are full of useful vocabulary and expressions. Stuffed, food, coma, nostalgia, reminisce, quality time, stroll, make the best of it. Each one is practical for everyday life. In this way, the end of Thanksgiving Day shows a valuable lesson. Happiness is found not in what we eat, but in how we share time with others, in words, actions, and memories that last far beyond the holiday. One of the most powerful lessons of Thanksgiving is that it is not about having a perfect table or the fanciest food. It is about sharing what you have with others. Some families invite neighbors, friends, or even strangers who don't have anywhere else to go. This act of kindness shows the real spirit of the holiday: generosity. In English, generosity means the willingness to give, to share, or to help. You can say, "Her generosity made everyone feel welcome." Many people also volunteer on Thanksgiving. They go to community centers, churches, or shelters to help cook and serve meals for those in need. This is called giving back, an expression that means returning kindness to the community. For example, he gives back by teaching free English classes. These small acts remind us that gratitude is strongest when it is shared. Another modern tradition is called Friendsgiving. This is when friends, especially those who live far from family, gather to celebrate together. The meal may not be traditional. Sometimes it's pizza, pasta, or anything easy to cook, but the feeling is the same. The phrase, "make it your own," is often used in this context. It means to adapt something to fit your style. For example, we made Thanksgiving our own with music, games, and homemade pasta. The deeper message of Thanksgiving is about slowing down and noticing life. In busy modern society, people often forget to stop and say, "I'm thankful." Thanksgiving gives everyone a reason to pause. In English, the phrase "count your blessings" is often used. It means to focus on the good things you already have instead of worrying about what you don't. For example, "Even on hard days, I try to count my blessings. The holiday also teaches the beauty of traditions. A simple recipe, a family story, or a table decoration can become part of a memory that lasts for generations. These traditions connect people across time. In English, there's a phrase, pass it down. It means to share something with younger generations. For example, my grandmother passed down her pie recipe to me. That's exactly what happens at Thanksgiving. Values, memories, and even words are passed down. For English learners, Thanksgiving is more than culture, it is a living lesson. It teaches vocabulary for food, phrases for politeness, idioms about gratitude, and expressions for family life. But it also teaches the heart of language, connection. Because language is not only about grammar or pronunciation, it is about saying, I care about you, I'm thankful for you. Let's share this moment. And that is why Thanksgiving remains so special. It reminds us that happiness grows when shared, that gratitude is stronger when spoken, and that even a simple meal can carry deep meaning.
Hello, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing great. And you?
I'm good too. I'm happy we are here again to talk and learn English together.
Yes, and today we have a very nice topic. We are going to talk about Thanksgiving dinner.
Thanksgiving is a special day in the United States. People celebrate it with food, family, and thankfulness.
That's right. It happens in November, and many people travel to be with their families.
One big part of this day is the Thanksgiving dinner. It is a big meal and people cook many special foods.
Let's talk about the foods. What do people eat at a Thanksgiving dinner?
Turkey is the most popular. It is a big bird and people roast it in the oven. It takes a long time to cook.
Yes, turkey is the center of the table. And many people also make stuffing. It is a mix of bread, herbs, and sometimes vegetables. People put it inside the turkey or cook it on the side.
Another common food is mashed potatoes. They are soft and creamy. People eat them with gravy, which is a sauce made from the turkey juice.
I love mashed potatoes. And don't forget about cranberry sauce. It is sweet and sour, made from red berries. Some people like it, some don't, but it is part of the tradition.
Yes, and there is also green beans, corn, and sweet potatoes. Some people put marshmallows on sweet potatoes, which is funny, but it tastes good.
And after the dinner, there is always dessert. The most popular one is pumpkin pie. It is sweet and has a warm spice flavor.
Apple pie and pecan pie are also very common. People really enjoy desserts after the big meal.
That's a lot of food. But Thanksgiving is not just about eating, right?
No, it's also about being thankful. People think about the good things in their life. They say thank you for their family, their home, their health, and everything good.
Some families go around the table and each person says something they are thankful for. It's a nice tradition. It makes people feel happy and close.
Yes, it's a time to remember the good things and enjoy being together.
Many people also help others on Thanksgiving. They give food to people who don't have enough, or they work at places that give free meals.
That's really beautiful. It shows the true meaning of the day, sharing, kindness, and thankfulness.
Some families also watch football games or special shows on TV, and others just talk, play games, or go for a walk after the big meal.
It sounds like a warm, happy day. A full house, full plates, and full hearts.
I remember my first Thanksgiving dinner.
I didn't know what to do or what to eat first. The table was full of food, and everything smelled so good.
Yes, it can be a little confusing at first. There are so many dishes. But you don't need to rush. People usually take a little bit of everything.
That's true. I also learned that it's okay to ask questions. I asked what each food was, and people were happy to explain.
That's a great way to learn. Sometimes the food looks new or different, especially for people from other countries. But that's part of the fun.
And cooking the meal is a big event. Some families start preparing the food a day before. It takes time, but they do it together.
Helping in the kitchen can be a great experience. You learn new recipes and also new English words about cooking.
Exactly. I learned words like bake, boil, and roast while cooking. I also learned names of ingredients like cinnamon, butter, and gravy.
That's a good point. Cooking is a fun way to improve English. You read recipes, follow steps, and talk to others. It helps your language skills grow.
And you enjoy tasty food at the same time. I also noticed that Thanksgiving dinner is more than just a meal. It's full of emotion and memories.
Yes, many people think about past Thanksgivings. They remember the times when they were children, the people who were there, the stories, the laughter.
That's why it's such a special dinner. It brings people together. Even friends who are far from family may gather and celebrate.
Some people call that Friendsgiving. It's the same idea, just with friends instead of family. The feeling is still warm and kind.
That's a lovely idea. It's not about having a perfect meal. It's about enjoying time with people and saying thank you.
And that's something we can all do no matter where we are. A simple dinner with kind words can mean a lot.
Sometimes people decorate the table too. They use candles, small pumpkins, or fall leaves. It makes the dinner feel cozy.
The colors of Thanksgiving are nice: orange, brown, yellow. They match the season and make everything feel calm and peaceful.
I also like the sounds, the talking, the laughter, the dishes, even the music in the background. It all feels very warm.
That's true. It's a good time to slow down and just enjoy being with people. No need for anything big or expensive.
Just good food, good company, and a thankful heart.
Some people also like to say a small prayer before they eat. It's not always religious, it can just be a short moment to say thanks.
Yes, I've seen that. Everyone holds hands or stays quiet for a minute, and someone says a few words. It feels peaceful and nice.
It shows respect and makes everyone feel calm and ready to enjoy the meal. It brings people closer together.
Another thing I noticed is how people help each other. Someone pours the drinks, another person cuts the turkey, and kids help serve food.
It really feels like a team. Everyone works together to make the day special. Even cleaning up after the meal becomes a shared job.
Yes, and while cleaning, people often talk about how good the food was, or they start sharing funny stories from the past.
That's the best part, those little talks and laughs. Sometimes people stay at the table for a long time, just chatting and relaxing.
I also like that people don't check their phones too much during the dinner. They try to focus on real people, real moments.
That's true. Thanksgiving dinner is a time to connect. Phones can wait, but family and friends need our full attention.
Do you know what some families do after dinner? They take a walk together, or play board games, or even look at old photo albums.
Yes, I've seen that. It keeps the mood warm and fun. Kids laugh, grandparents tell stories, and everyone enjoys the time.
It's nice to see different generations sitting together. You don't always see that during busy days.
You're right. Thanksgiving dinner gives everyone a reason to slow down and remember what really matters.
I also like how every family does it a little differently. Some cook the food at home, some order from a restaurant, some invite neighbors.
It doesn't have to be perfect. What's important is sharing. Even a small dinner can feel big if your heart is full.
That is so true.
One year, I had Thanksgiving with only 3 people, but it was still very special.
It's not about how many people are there. It's about the feeling, being thankful, being together, and enjoying the moment.
I think another fun part of Thanksgiving dinner is when people bring their own dishes. Everyone shares what they made, and the table becomes full of different tastes.
Yes, I like that too. Sometimes one person brings a sweet potato dish, another brings a pie, and someone else brings a salad. It's like a big mix of flavors from many people.
And some families have special recipes they only cook for Thanksgiving. It becomes a tradition, and people look forward to it every year.
Like my aunt's cranberry sauce. She only makes it on Thanksgiving, and now it feels like the meal isn't complete without it.
That's the power of food. It holds memories. Even the smell of a dish can remind you of people or times you love.
You're right. And when people grow up and start their own families, they try to cook the same things to keep those memories alive.
I've seen that. A young person will call their parent and ask, "How do I make your stuffing?" It's sweet, because they want to keep the tradition going.
It's also a good way to learn cooking. Thanksgiving dinner teaches people how to cook with care and love.
Yes, and it's more than just cooking. It's learning how to plan, how to work with others, how to give and share.
That's true. Even setting the table can be a lesson. Kids learn how to help, how to fold napkins, and how to make guests feel welcome.
And sometimes things go wrong. The turkey might be a little dry or the pie might burn, but people still smile and enjoy the meal.
That's because the food is not the most important part. The togetherness, the laughter, the stories, that's what people remember most.
It's really about saying, I care about you, through time and attention. And food becomes the way to show that.
When someone cooks for you or invites you to dinner, it means they want you to feel at home.
That is a beautiful thought.
And Thanksgiving gives us one special day to show kindness, to stop and say, I'm happy you are in my life.
It's a simple message, but it means so much. Even if people are far away, they often call or send messages on Thanksgiving just to say they care.
Sometimes, Thanksgiving dinner is also a time to invite people who don't have family nearby. It's kind to include someone who may be alone on that day.
Yes, I really like that. Opening your home to someone new can make a big difference. It shows them they are not forgotten.
That's the true heart of Thanksgiving. Kindness, welcome, and sharing. It's not just about family. It's about community, too.
And it's a good reminder for all of us. Even if we don't celebrate Thanksgiving in our country, we can still learn from it. We can still say thank you more often and enjoy simple moments with people we care about.
Exactly. You don't need a big turkey or a holiday to sit with your loved ones and share food and stories. You can do that anytime.
So true. But Thanksgiving gives people a special reason to pause and look around, to see the good things in their lives.
And it gives English learners a chance to explore culture. Understanding how people celebrate teaches you not only new words, but also new ways of thinking and living.
That's why learning about Thanksgiving dinner is helpful. You learn language, food words, culture, and how people connect with each other.
It's a full experience. Talking, listening, cooking, sharing, helping, and laughing. It's a great way to practice English and understand people better.
We hope this podcast helped you learn more about Thanksgiving dinner and also gave you new words and ideas in English.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We really enjoyed talking about this special day with you.
If you like this podcast, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and share it with your friends and family.
Every time you listen, comment, or share, it helps more people learn English and learn together.
So thank you again. Keep learning, keep smiling, and take care.
Goodbye, and see you next time.